Just a few days ago, I received a text message while I was driving. I decided to respond while continuing to drive. I made sure to look up every few seconds, but despite this, I ended up swerving slightly into another lane. Luckily, the road I was driving on was pretty deserted. Despite this, though, I found myself getting really nervous as to what could have happened had there been someone else around. Even if you think that you are not at risk when you text and drive, you really are. According to the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute, you are 23 times more likely to be in an accident when texting and driving. If this is not enough to make you want to listen up, texting and driving is illegal in 39 states, including Nebraska. Despite the fact that I may not have done primary research on this topic, I have spent numerous hours looking up secondary research statistics. These statistics from credible primary sources are what I will be sharing with you today. Texting while driving is extremely distracting in itself. It can also injure other drivers and potentially even kill other drivers. It is important to be informed on the topic of texting when driving. I hope this information that is shared with you today during this speech will help you make a better decision when it comes time for you to decide if you're going to respond to that text message you receive while you are in your car. The first key to learning about texting and driving is to understand some basic facts. Texting while driving is extremely distracting. In March of 2010, AT&T launched a campaign to educate consumers about the dangers of texting and driving. They found out numerous important pieces of information. Texting ranks as the #1 mode of communications among teenagers ages 15 to 19. 75% of teenagers say that they text regularly. According to the Wireless Association, in the month of June 2011, more than 196 billion text messages were sent or received in the United States. This is up nearly 50% from June 2009. When this translates to the car, the statistics can be alarming. As I have previously stated, according to the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute, you are 23 times more likely to be in an accident when texting and driving. 5 seconds is the average time that your eyes are off the road while you're sending a text message. When traveling at 55 miles per hour, 5 seconds is enough time to cover the length of a football field. In a poll conducted by AT&T, teens admit to knowing that texting and driving is dangerous. 94% say it is dangerous, and this includes the 75% who say that it is very dangerous. Despite the fact that teenagers are the most common group at risk, they are not the only ones. According to the National Website for Distracted Driving, distraction.gov, 49% of drivers with cell phones under the age of 35 sent or read text messages while driving, to go along with the 60% of drivers that use cell phones in general while driving. According to the 2010-17 magazine poll, the excuses that have been used by people who text and drive include claiming that they are simply multitasking or that texting makes driving less boring. Teens claim that they are used to being connected to people all the time, and 35% of teenagers who text and drive do not believe that anything bad will happen to them. This can all be proven in a study conducted by the University of Utah in 2009. Over the course of 18 months, college students using a sophisticated driving simulator showed an 8 times greater crash risk when texting versus not texting. The Virginia Tech Transportation Institute also noted that texting and driving is 6 times more likely to cause an automobile crash than driving while intoxicated. The Children's Hospital of Philadelphia also notes that distracted driving is the #1 killer of American teens. Alcohol-related accidents among teens have dropped, but teenage traffic fatalities have remained unchanged because distracted driving is on the rise. People often think that stopping at a red light gives them an excuse to check their phone. However, this is not necessarily the case. Texting while at red lights is not a solution. According to the same AT&T poll, teenagers differentiate between texting and driving behaviors. However, they are much less prone to recognize the dangers of texting while stopping at a red light. 70% of teens that say texting while stopped at a red light is dangerous, while only 33% say it is very dangerous. Texting at a red light can be just as dangerous. Often when looking up after texting, people will let their hold off the brake. This can cause something as simple as running into the rear end of someone else's car, or something as serious as rolling out into the intersection. Maybe the most important part of this speech is the fact that texting and driving can cause you to harm yourself as well as others. Texting while driving can injure and potentially be fatal to other people. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in 2008, 5,870 people died and more than 500,000 were hurt in crashes involving a distracted or inattentive driver. According to the USA Today article, 18-year-old Mariah West was driving to a baseball game when she received a text. As she was responding, she lost control of her car, which clipped the bridge, skidded on its roof along the edge of the bridge, and flipped back into oncoming traffic. Mariah was partially ejected and her skull was crushed. Her death was caused by a text message that read, "Where are you?" In an event closer to home, on May 31st, 2007, 16-year-old Katie Reynolds was killed in a car accident on 132nd and Center. According to a report from WOWT, Reynolds was driving through the intersection when another 16-year-old driver, who was texting, ran a red light and hit her car. Reynolds was killed, and a passenger in her car had serious head injuries as well. The fact that a car had already passed through the intersection before Reynolds' car was hit shows how long the light had been red. The other driver was clearly very distracted by her phone. PSAs from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration show different forms of texting and look to stop the epidemic that is currently going on. Here's an example of a PSA. PSAs like this are becoming more and more common and are looking to stop the epidemic that is texting and driving currently. Before researching this topic, I was very blind to the dangers of texting and driving. I hope that this speech has informed you of the dangers that can come from it and will help you make an educated decision when it comes to answering your next text. Are there any questions at this time? Alright, with companies like AT&T who are striving to make an impact on teenagers texting and driving, hopefully we can become more aware of the dangers that it entails. Texting and driving is illegal in 39 states, and most other states are looking to pass laws on it as well. In the end, the best way to accomplish this is to keep everyone informed, and I hope this speech has taught you a lot on this topic.